Jones Distillery and the Pennyroyal Arts Council as we celebrate Woodstock's 50th anniversary with the Lights Out Festival featuring the Woodstock Rock Orchestra Saturday, August 17th.
Hopkinsville's own Mark Jones, Chip Graham, and Alonzo Pennington, along with 12 seasoned musicians, will take you on a musical journey through the performances of songs played at the festival by groups like
The Who, Sly and the Family Stone, Joe Cocker, Janis Joplin, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Santana, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and many others.
Advance tickets are $25 online at pennyroyalarts.org and CaseyJonesDistillery.com, at the Alhambra Theater box office and Casey Jones Distillery, or there'll be 30 at the gate.
Gates open at 10 a.m., food trucks serving all day, warm-up music at 2:30 p.m., and the concert starts at 7 p.m.
Special thanks to Budweiser of Hopkinsville as our lead sponsor, so get online and get your tickets today for the Lights Out Festival coming Saturday, August 17th.
1580 103.3 WPKY Coffee Talk is on the air. Morning conversations about things of interest to you. If you'd like to be a guest on Coffee Talk, just email us your information at WPKYonline@gmail.com. We're proud to call Caldwell County home. WPKY.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty and 8:09 on a Friday.
Indeed.
Can't wait.
We believe a resume is a great...
Stop that.
Sometimes that robot has a mind of its own.
It does. You just got to tell it, stop that. Stop it.
Sometimes
no,
you
I
have
don't
to
want you to
stop
do
it.
that.
Well, welcome to Coffee Talk here on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty in the morning. Have a pleasure of welcoming into the WPKY studios this morning Joe Dan Beavers. He is the CEO of Life Skills Incorporated out of Bowling Green. We also have Eric Embry. He is the CEO of Pennyroyal Center out of Hopkinsville. Welcome, gentlemen. Glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate having us.
Good morning.
Well, big news. This was saw some social media buzz, also some press releases about the merger between really two wonderful companies that are just tremendously helpful for our area. Life Skills Inc. been around since I think 1966, and
yes, sir.
Of course the Pennyroyal Center about the same amount of time.
1967.
And so they are providers of mental health services throughout West Kentucky, and you all have some exciting news.
Sure, absolutely. You wanna go ahead and start us off?
Sure, and start. It's awful good to be home for a while. I told Eric as we were coming home, I've got more pressure here than I do probably in my own job. If I get something wrong, I'm going to hear about it from all the people that are important and family and everybody else. So
I guarantee your mom's listening.
I think my dad's in the parking lot actually.
Well, you are under pressure, Joe Dan. Joe
Yes,
Dan
sir.
Beavers, a hometown boy, Caldwell County born and bred. So,
Yes, sir.
Welcome home.
Well, and and I use that as an intro. That's why what we're going to talk about today is doubly important. The work we do and that the Pennyroyal Center has done are vital to our communities. But it's important to me personally to get this right, to make sure that these services are available to communities that I've always held very close to heart and are dear to me. So. But we got together. Eric and I have known each other for a long time, over 10 years in this industry, and have always worked well together. And just some changes in our industry across the state kind of caused us to look at opportunities to work more closely together. And this made a lot of sense, both in terms of services, geography, personalities, and opportunities.
Well, I know you have this basically takes your revenue streams from, I think you guys are about 55 million. The Pennyroyal Center is about 40 million. You're up to 95 million, 875 employees and 26 locations and 91 licensed clinicians. So, I mean, you guys basically double your territory. And you also provide services that the Pennyroyal Center didn't provide, and they provide services that Life Skills didn't provide, and that just allows you all to be much more available to our public.
I think when you said you did some homework, you just proved you've done some homework. Why it's important for our communities. I think one of the messages that we both like getting out there and sharing with people is exactly what we do. Established in 1967, the Pennyroyal Center, we're what's referred to as a community mental health center. And in new employee orientation, what I tell people that are coming on board is that we pretty much provide the full array of social services to individuals in our community. We're a safety net provider. So you say you all provide behavioral health. What we say is if an individual needs therapy, they need clothed, fed, housed, employed, we take care of almost every aspect of that, and Life Skills does as well. What we've noticed in the healthcare operating environment is that our payers, the people that pay us, they're getting larger. We're both rural providers at heart. And we felt like coming together gave us the size and scale to be able to leverage those services and, strategically put us in a much better place.
And through the years, from 1966 to the present, legislation's changed.
Absolutely.
Insurance has changed, and how funding takes place. The grant structure's changed. Of course, government's turnover. So there are pressures that you all have to adapt and adjust to constantly, and you have to be looking ahead, I know. And this really probably, as you all looked out and decided, hey, this is something we need to discuss and look at, is probably due to the many changes and the adaptations that you all have to go through annually.
That's exactly right, and it is more complex industry and grows more complex really every day, both in terms of the regulatory environment, the reimbursement environment we deal with, but also really the complexity of the clients we're seeing. Folks that are dealing with mental illness, addiction as well, and the complications and physical health challenges that come along with that. So at our core, both agencies are community-based organizations tied to small-town rural Kentucky. And that's incredibly valuable, I think. As those changes happen, it's getting tougher for healthcare providers in rural Kentucky. So our goal with this, and what will always be at the heart of what we do, is how do we stay true to that small, regional, local healthcare delivery system, but also tap into some of the advantages you have to have in the market now as a larger player. And so that's our goal here, and why I think this was such a good fit is I think for folks that are familiar with the Pennyroyal Center, that are familiar with life skills, can't expect any major changes. I don't think they're going to see a disruption in what they do. Hopefully we'll improve it, but it's not going to be a major change for them. We're going to keep doing what we do. It positions us to survive long term and hopefully grow as well.
Yeah, that's important, I think, is when people hear merger, it can scare them.
Yes, sir.
It not only it scares, of course, it can scare employees. They go, oh, my goodness, what's that mean? And then, of course, if they're experiencing and taking part in your services, they're going, oh, boy, is it going to go away? Is it not going away? But, watched your YouTube introduction about the merger and have read some press releases, and it looks like to me this is an enhancement for both companies.
That's the intention. I appreciate you watching the video. I hope we did well.
I think you were great.
Thank you. But of course, when we made the announcement, the very first question you get from staff are, "Do I still have a job?" And when you hear the term merger or an acquisition, which this is a merger, on my side, I try to get out in front of as many individuals that we have as possible. That whole week we made the announcement was spent going to each location. Went to the location here in Princeton, out on 62, and just got in front of them and said, "You have a job. You're going to continue to pretty much do what you're doing now." As a social service organization, both organizations are pretty, stretched thin. That there is a huge need for what we offer. There's more than enough to go around. Not only will you have a job, but we felt like this also adds opportunity for those individuals that work for us for career advancement. So it seemed like a natural fit.
Well, I have a son actually that's special needs, and he's going to be, he's a teenager now, but at some point he's going to be looking to, get signed up and try to find a job and do those sorts of things. How do they do that? Did they say, I'm not current, maybe I have a child in school, he's not ready to be there yet, but they're trying to look ahead. Is the application process is going to be the same? Is the therapy that's available, that sort of thing, is it going to increase?
The plan, especially on a local level with Princeton Clinic, is for that to increase. In your specific example that you're dealing with right now, individuals like that, we have supported employment programs where it's to take an individual with special needs or a disability, whether it be behavioral health, whatever the case may be, and find an employer that will work with them. But application process is the same. When I give out, I'm always going to end with the contact information for the center. That's going to maintain the same. The people in this area should know that we're becoming life skills, but you're still going to see the Pennyroyal Center brand out there. You're still going to be dealing with the same people from a community-based standpoint. The number one question I got is, am I still going to be dealing with the same people locally? You are. Yeah.
Well, and that's important in a lot of ways. I mean, it really is, because people with special needs, they they get very close to the people that they work with on a day in and day out, and they trust those people. And for a lot of those people to just disappear all at once and, everything change all at once, that's a big step for them.
We don't plan on them going anywhere.
I know, that's what I was saying. I thought that was great. That was a good thing.
And I'll tell you, actually, to that end, specifically the example you gave, for agencies like ours, some of our biggest, most valuable partners we have are the local school systems. And so, I'm happy that across both agencies, we have a physical presence in over 140 schools across the 18 counties. And the school here in Caldwell County. I know you guys have some guests later this morning from the school system. That relationship is vitally important to the work that we do, and the Pennyroyal Center has staff available to Caldwell County schools. None of that will change, and like Eric said, we hope that we can improve and expand those services where it's needed.
Well, and I will say, when the first time it was brought up to me, I was a little concerned.
Sure.
I had questions, I was like, hey, wait a minute, because I'm a mom, and from the mom standpoint, we want to know that our kids and our babies are taken care of and that nothing's going to change. And that made me feel a lot better when I started hearing about, the people that were still going to be there and that sort of thing. And we have a wonderful school system as far as therapy and teachers and people that love them here. And once they continue out of school, that's usually when it's more difficult they're so loved and taken care of in school. Now what? Now how do they become members of society? And not just somebody that lives down the road, but somebody that's contributing to the society on a regular basis. And that's
right.
one of the challenges as a parent, is to make. My son happens to be nonverbal, but there are things that he can do,
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of kids, I call them kids, but a lot of people in Special Olympics. I'm a coach for that as well. And
nice.
We see a lot of them that are down at Pennyroyal, and they do have jobs outside of that. Right. Jason's one of them. He mows yards all over the place and loves doing it, and it gives him, that gives them purpose when they get up in the morning, and
Absolutely.
gives them something to look forward to.
Well, and that's really at the heart of our service delivery model is the things you described. If you ask anyone in the building today, you're going to have similar goals. They want to have something that gets them up in the morning, gainful employment, a organization they're involved with, whether it's a volunteer basis or a career or job. They want to have meaningful relationships. They want to feel like they have an active and healthy lifestyle.
Right.
I mean, that's true for all of us, and it's no different from the clients that the Pennyroyal Center and Life Skills work with. And, we take an approach, there's a technical term for it, but it makes a lot of sense, and I'm not clinical at all. So if it makes sense to me, I think we're on track. But, basically we take a person-centered approach. So for the particular example you gave, we would find out, what's important to your son, what's he interested in, and then try to find matches there versus like, okay, here is the option you have, A, B, or C. You just pick the one that you like best. It's focused first on identifying, what's important to them, what do they value, and then building services and supports around those. And, that the data there, we're going to get better outcomes, clinical outcomes, improvements, all of those things. That's the approach we take. And so really the nature of this merger too is how do we enhance those service offerings, expand them where we need to, because the reality of it is it's challenging in rural Kentucky. And it's the same in the counties. We can take Bowling Green out of the equation. The rest of the 17 counties that we serve are predominantly rural. And so that's our heart of the mission here, is to make sure those services are always available to rural Kentucky. Growing up here, I can think of lots of situations where we had to travel for specialists, whether it's, my brother or I, and, Hopkinsville, Madisonville, maybe Nashville, other places. And our parents had the ability to do that for us. But I know that's not the case for a lot of folks. And so it's vitally important to keep those services local and accessible to the folks here. So, I think it's really important fabric to our community, small town Kentucky, and particularly rural Western Kentucky, and we want to make sure these services are always available to the citizens in these communities.
Well, and they even have group outings. They have community activities, amongst each other. They're such good friends out there, and they become their own family as well. And in some cases, that may be the only family they have, really. Some people don't have a large family and a large support group. And that's one thing I will say out there is they enjoy being around each other. People go in on a regular basis. We have a lot of volunteers that go out there as well. And, if somebody says, I would like to be more involved, I want to learn more. I don't have anyone in my family that's special needs, but I want to help. How do they go about doing that?
So I'm going to give you, we have a toll-free number. It's what we call our response center, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's sort of the gatekeeper of all of the information for whether you want to volunteer, whether you need help. It runs the full gamut. That number is 877-473-7766, which is 1-877-4RESPOND. For those out there listening. If I may also mention, one of the big pushes for the Pennyroyal Center has been a zero suicide region. So we also have the ability to text. What we found is that the younger generation, they are more tech savvy than I am. So if anybody feels the need, any kind of suicidal ideations and intentions, whatever, they can text CONFIDE, CONFIDE, to the number 839-863, and somebody at that response center will have a conversation with them.
Well, and a lot of times that's, they see that, it's a stressful situation a lot of times. And when you want to do things and maybe you can't, and it's so stressful, and it can be depressing. And that's for the families as well. It can hit you before you admit it. And then you say, well, I don't have time to worry about me. That's a phone number that, and a program that they really need to think about. Let's give them that again.
Okay, that's CONFIDE, CONFIDE, to 839-863, and the phone number is 1-877-473-7766. Thank you.
Guys, is the merger official yet? Is it still in the works? Has it officially been?
We are shooting for January 1st.
January of 2020.
Right.
18 total counties served, over 26,000 individuals and families served. And before we let you go, guys, we read the news, we see the news. There's just going to be an increasing need for mental health services in our society. That's just where we are. And you guys, Pennyroyal Center Life Skills, play a vital role in helping the health of our community. And we can't thank you guys enough.
Well, we appreciate it, and an opportunity to speak to you guys today. Really the biggest challenge I think all of us face in this line of work is the stigma associated with this. We're afraid to ask for help, particularly males, and I'll call my group out. We don't ask for help a lot, and we're also the most lethal when it comes to making decisions to take our own lives. So if you hear anything today, two things: the numbers that Eric gave you that you can use to reach out for help, and then this: if you or someone you know is struggling, talk about it. There's no shame in that. There are people to help you that aren't going to judge you. Don't let it get too far gone. Don't make a permanent decision based on temporary situation.
Right, and we encourage you to go out to the websites as well. You can do a Google search. You can find Pennyroyal Center, Life Skills. You'll see them both there together. There is help available, especially for those needs. And we just can't thank you all enough. Those services are vital for our society right now. So thank you all for being here today.
Having us.
Thanks. We sure do appreciate it. It's
you all.
Tess and Ty at 825, 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Stick around. We've got, I think we've got a school teacher in the house, don't we? I do believe 826, Tess and Ty on PKY. 1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty, it's 8:29, and we've got our friends in the studio this morning. We've got Mr. Nate Huggins, of course, Superintendent for Caldwell County School Systems. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Tess. How are you doing?
I'm good. I love it when y'all are coming in. I really do. It's kind of like you see friends every once in a while. Although I see him quite often because I'm at the school a lot. I said, we need to all start carpooling. I said, between you and Brock Thomas and Harold Riley, we all...
Well, just let me know. I'll pick you up and bring you to school. I don't know when I can bring you back is the problem.
Well, and we talked the other day, and I said, I really and truly think that I'm not the only mama that has a hard time letting those kids off at school. And we had talked last time about having what is it? One of those rooms where you exit slowly and you go into boohoo. Oh, we need a boohoo room. A boohoo room. And, I was joking somewhat. I mean, but some of us have a hard time letting go, especially if it's the first year that your kid's going to be going to school, or maybe they just had a hard time with it last year, because some kids just develop slower than others as far as being able to, be comfortable being around a lot of people. Mine, they ran, and I was not ready for them to go, and they're like, get away from me. I'm ready to be away,
I just want to let all the parents know that we are, by law, responsible for their children during the school day. Loco parente is what they call it in the legal terms. And our teachers love their kids just as their own. They really do. And if you go into their classroom, you'll see it. I've got two of our great teachers with us today.
We do, and I will tell you, they work tirelessly.
And they
really
are off
do.
today, and they've allowed. They said, I want to come in and I want to talk on the radio about school and what they need to do.
How about that? I'll tell you, when my kids first started, this is a true story. I really and truly, I had these pictures, because I have twins that are 12, and I really had these pictures of both of them out in the middle of the highway. I don't know why. I had these nightmares about it. And you know what? They were so happy, and they were so well taken care of. I don't ever have to worry about it. And now I'm like, please take my children. I'm tired of them. Get them out of the house. I want them gone. No, but you have a lot of really good teachers up there. Now, you said you did first grade, right?
Yes.
And what's your name?
I'm Logan Schaefer.
And what is your name?
I'm Emily Perkins.
And you're fourth grade, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now what's the difference do you see a lot of parents changing their tune between first grade and fourth? We
had open house last night as well as the primary. And I didn't really notice a lot of parents with that, helicopter mom.
Yeah, we've let go of it a little.
So I think by that age, for the most part, they're okay. It's not easy all the time, but they're more okay with it than like a first-year student at the primary.
Right.
Okay, in first grade, though.
Well, in first grade, they've been around the block, so the parents were like, we did this last year. I found that they were like, you don't have to sit right next to me. Go. They were more encouraging their child to get out there and be their own person.
But by the fourth grade, they don't want to hug us anymore half the time, Nate. We're not okay with that. Not as a mama.
You got to stop hugging your kids when they're 18.
No, you don't.
You always hug your kids because you love them. And I'll hug my kids, and they're 33 and 35. I'll hug them today like I hugged them when they were 3 and 5.
I don't care if they're in the middle of the football field. If I want to hug them,
right.
That's exactly what I'm
your mama right.
We have to build a positive relationship with all our kids. We have to let them know that we love them, we care for them, we're going to hold them accountable, we'll be respectful to them, and we'll build that sound relationship so they can get a great educational foundation.
And we want them to feel that way at school, like
exactly
they're
right.
safe. That's the biggest thing, is safe, because safe is going to equal comfortable, and if they're comfortable, that's going to equal them thinking and
everybody's
learning.
already looked at the Senate Bill 1 safety film that we're supposed to for an active shooter drill this year. That's one of our requirements school-wide, and we've all met that criteria for the state.
That's wonderful. I really do. Because that's something that scares all of us. It scares
really
y'all
does.
too, right?
I mean, when you have to go to, you worry about going to Walmart now based on what's recently happened in El Paso.
Well, and you brought that up. That's one of those things that we're terrified that we're going to get the phone call. We're terrified even more that we won't get a phone call and know what's going on.
Right.
But I will say, over the years, if you're just bringing your kids in, Caldwell County is very good as far as communication and communicating with the parents. And they don't, it seems like the secretaries know, hey, they know you by name very quickly. They learn who you are, and nobody ever, makes you feel guilty for calling. I think they understand. Most of them are parents themselves, and Nate, they just don't give me a hard time. I don't know.
They shouldn't give you. They better not give you a hard time. But what parents also need to do is get on Infinite Campus. If they don't have an Infinite Campus account, call the school, get on the Infinite Campus account, and check what's going on with your child. I mean, you can see what assignments they're taking, how their grades are going, their attendance. Sometimes the high school kids say they went to school, maybe they didn't go to school.
No, now they don't do that.
I did that sometimes
never did
when I
that
was a
in
high school
school.
student, so I don't think that's changed much. But
my mom's listening. I can't
but
say what I did.
I really want the parents to know that they need to get online and look at Infinite Campus and see what's going on with their child and be proactive and communicate with the teachers.
Well, now you're talking about two different schools too, primary and elementary here. Now in first grade, what is the one thing that you wish that the kid would bring and they don't? The one thing that they always forget or maybe they don't have?
Bring your communicator folder. We send that home with them every night, and we just want it to come back every day.
I was bad about that. I'm not.
The blue folder and their agenda book.
Yes, the agenda book. Yeah. See, mine are in middle school now. I don't have to worry about
That's a communication
and
vehicle
those are,
for
that's
that
our
school.
lifeline for
really
parent
is.
and teacher. So that's really important.
Okay. Well, what about you now in fourth grade? What's that one thing?
Well, we don't really have. We have a Thursday folder that goes home only on Thursdays, but we also implement technology. So we have some grades that use the Remind app. There's a new one called Class Tag, Class Dojo, and we communicate a lot with our parents through that because who doesn't have their cell phone in their back pocket or in their hand at all times?
That's something different that I've had to learn to use, that
Yes.
Remind
We
app
have
and that
Remind
sort of.
at the
Oh,
primary.
it's
And it
wonderful.
makes it a lot easier. And we
It is
also, this
wonderful.
year, the elementary, we have a new principal and assistant principal, Melissa Thomas and Kendra Glenn, and they have started a Facebook page for the elementary. And I think that's going to be great because it's easy to get on, see what's going on, see what I need to know as a parent, what's coming up, what do I need to do, what do I need to have. And it's a great way to kind of keep parents
I'll tell
informed.
you, especially when you've got it. There was one time when I actually had a kid in the primary, the elementary, and the high school. So I mean, it's one of those things that it's so hard to keep up with. And when you're notorious for it, I don't care how many times they've done it. At 10 o'clock at night, it's Mom, tomorrow's 100th day of school. I need a T-shirt. I like the idea of the Facebook page because parents can talk to one another and say, okay, well, what are the rules of this? What are we supposed to do? Can anybody help?
What do I need to know?
Right, and they can talk to one another, and a lot of times that makes a huge difference. So, I mean, as far as what parents, what do you really want them to know before they start school this year? Like, as far as, can you help the kids and the parents transition? I mean, what do we do as moms to not need the boo-hoo room? What do we do to encourage the little ones as well? Because a lot of times I think we scare them more than anything else does because we're terrified. So, I mean, what do we do to help them?
The best thing, and I've been living this myself this week. My son started daycare, so I've been that boo-hooing mama. But I think the best thing all of our parents can do is just pump their child up for school, talk up their teacher. Most of them came last night and they met their teacher. So, wasn't she so nice? And wasn't that balloon you got? Some of our teachers give balloons or cookies. Wasn't that so cool? And think about all the friends you're going to meet and all the fun stories you're going to read. I did that for my son. I was like, remember all the toys? And wasn't that teacher so nice? We love her.
That.
So I feel like at this age, I don't know that like high school gets this luxury because at that point, you don't really care what your parents think.
Now.
But at both of our ages, I think if your child knows that you think school is cool, then they're going to think it's cool.
Right.
Well, what about fourth grade? Is that any different?
No, I'm going to piggyback off of that. I think you talk it up, and as much as you want to tell your child, I'm going to miss you so much. I've read an article this summer when my daughter went to camp that don't tell them that because that almost puts it in your head.
I say that every day.
Well, it puts it in their head like, oh, my mom's going to miss me. I'm going to miss her, So
We're
I think
not beyond guilt. Moms aren't. I mean,
I know. I've been there, done that.
How about wear your sunglasses on the first day?
Wear your
Hey.
sunglasses.
See you crying.
And to the parents, we are trained to teach academics, but we're also trained, and we do a lot of trainings on building that relationship with your kiddos. So I think it's important for them to know that we're not just there to teach math and reading. we're going to love your kiddos. A lot of us are mamas and daddies and aunts and uncles, so we're going to love them like they're ours.
I love that. Now, what do you say to the moms who might stay with their kid the first day?
Leave. No, I'm just kidding.
No, please.
I didn't personally do it.
Just hug your child, give them the kiss and the love they need, and say, Johnny, Billy, Susie, have a great day. I'll see you this afternoon when you get out of school. Your teacher will take great care of you.
So
and
short goodbye.
Just short goodbye.
Well,
Kick 'em out
trust
the door.
yourself that you've done
I'm not
the
kicking
good
them,
job.
but just drop your child off, and because teachers need to get their classrooms in order
Right.
and be able to talk about what they need to talk about the very first day of school.
Right.
These are rules. This is what we're going to follow every day. This is what I want you to do. This is the line we'll line up for breakfast. This is where we'll line up for lunch.
That's
We'll
a good.
go to the bathroom.
What time should they get there to make sure that they have time to eat breakfast? I know what time the bell rings,
We
but
open
what
our
time?
doors at 7:10 is the earliest.
Okay.
And school starts at 7:35. But even if you ride the bus, our last bus pulls in at 7:20.
So that way they have
plenty
time.
of
And
time.
every student in Caldwell County gets a free lunch and
Right.
breakfast. So by all means, parents, encourage your child to eat, because we get those funds back from the federal government if they eat their lunch and their breakfast and their lunch.
I want to add
please.
to, we have had in the past where a child for some reason has came to school late and maybe still didn't have breakfast. It doesn't matter. If that cafeteria is closed, but they have not had breakfast, we will feed your child and make sure their bellies are not empty.
See, I love that.
Good way to learn.
Yeah.
Well, and what is the procedure too? If my kid is going to be 5 minutes late, what is the? Because with the doors locked and that sort of thing, and then you got to park, and then you got to come in. But when do you have to go in with your child? High school, you don't. What are
you're
the?
supposed to go in and sign them in. High school, we don't. But elementary, primary, elementary, and middle, we ask the parents to come in and sign them in. Say Billy, Susie, Bobby was late.
Right.
I'm sorry, we got up late. So they can take them in the office, sign them in, and they'll know that that's. They can use a parent note if they wanted to for an excused tardy, if they want to use that. I believe they have 5 to take or 6 to take for the year. So if you want to use that for an excused tardy, you can. But there are attendance regulations that we have to follow. 3 unexcused absences is considered truant.
Okay.
So just make sure you be wise with that.
Well, we had mentioned the art projects and that sort of thing earlier. I do want to say I want to see these 100-day T-shirts and stuff. So make sure that you send us pictures, because Ty and I would love to see that. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. So
You gotta make sure you get one.
I would really like one.
That's awesome.
So what
wonderful.
size do we need to make sure you two get?
Don't ask for that on the radio.
See, I love her right there.
I think a
class.
small. I think a small.
Hey, see, now I like you even better. He says I'm a small, so I think it's
You're
wonderful.
XL. There you go, Ty. Well, I'm a 2X.
I'm an XL. Hey,
I like it comfortable.
That's right.
I got 3 kids. One of them's I do pretty good.
Well, what our first grade has to look forward to on 100 days, we dress up as like we are 100 years old. And I think only first graders do that at our school, so that you
It's
have that
cute.
to look
You
forward
need
to
to
this
you
year.
need to see if you want to come see something special. You need to
I
come,
think that
come
would
see
be
that.
Bring
fun.
your gray wig
Aww.
and your cane.
And now you're going to have a lot of special days throughout the year, and you'll be sending stuff home. Now, normally your special notes, those are going to be on colored paper, right? A lot of times those special notes,
We want you
they
to
kind of
see it.
stand out
Yes.
when you see them in the folder. And it's especially important to write, sign. Don't just look at the folder when it goes home. You need to sign that you saw it, right? So the
Right.
teachers know that the communication is there as well.
And anytime we send something home, we do normally, like I said, try to shoot it out there on that remind, so to be looking for it. Because a lot of kids, they get home, they throw their backpack down, and that's the end of the story.
Right.
So that kind of gives parents a heads up, hey, I need to pull that out of the folder or the backpack.
One thing I like about our folders is it's very clear cut. There is a side that says, you may keep this at home, return to school, please. So it's organized.
Well, and what is the things that the class needs the most? Because that's one thing that a lot of parents will buy a couple of something, just so that the class will have extra. Is there something that normally, you guys go through a lot faster than others?
Well, with kids in schools and germs, we always
they're
need,
germ magnets. It's okay, you can say it.
Clorox wipes, and Kleenex.
I will say I was pleased at the turnout last night at open house, and a lot of parents already brought their supplies.
They
And
did.
Parents are good about doing extra donations, and We are stocked on Clorox and tissue right now.
One thing you need to worry about on the Germex, it has to be alcohol-free. Because if somebody has a lighter and we've got an alcohol hand sanitizer, it could cause somebody to catch on fire.
Nate Huggins, I never thought about that.
I mean, that's one of the things that we talked about during our safety presentation this year with the school leadership.
Well, I wasn't there.
Well, next year I'll invite you.
I never would have thought about
parents,
that.
I want you to please look when you bring hand sanitizer, make sure it's alcohol free, so we're not causing a potential problem with a fire that could spark from anything.
I'm telling you, you learn something new every day.
I mean, this safety, the Senate Bill 1, we had an hour presentation with the guy from Kentucky Center for School Safety, and he went through all the things that we need to make sure that we follow. And I sent out the Senate Bill 1 update to all the faculty and staff, so they'll know what we need to focus on to make sure our buildings are safe.
Well, remind us again what time they need to be there on the 14th. That's coming up next week. Or is everybody
That's next
ready?
Wednesday.
Everybody ready to go back to
Mr.
school?
Dyer said if he picks them up on the bus, he's not going to leave them on the bus. He's going to drop them off.
Hey, that sounds good to me. That sounds good. So everything is good with the schools? Everybody ready for us to send our kids?
We have exceptional custodians that clean our buildings. We have exceptional bus drivers and mechanics that work on our buses. Our 2 maintenance guys that take care of our buildings and grounds are phenomenal.
They are.
And our cooks are ready to go. They were in a training yesterday, and they're all excited about seeing all the kids' faces in the lunchroom.
I love it.
I mean, I'm ecstatic about this school year. We're going to have a great school year.
We are, and football's in full swing. So, I mean, I'll tell you, we're ready to go. It's 8:45 with Tess and Ty.
Thank you.
Miss Logan and Emily, thank you so much for coming in. We sure do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ty.
Mr.
Appreciate
Nate
you.
Huggins, we appreciate it.
We appreciate you. We really appreciate WPKY for allowing us to come on the air each month and talk about Caldwell County schools, because we are the best in the state.
Oh, yes, we are. Hey, well, I'm learning something more and more now. You got to think of something to teach me next time.
Well, I'm glad we get the books out.
It won't take much. 8:45, Tess and Ty. Stick around, more Coffee Talk up next.
All right, we've got a 30% chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon, about a high of 86, and then a chance of showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight, low down to 69. Sunshine for tomorrow, high near 88, and then that slight chance of scattered showers continues Sunday, high near 90. Looks like a chance of rain on to next week, going to be hot as well. But again, for today, that slight chance of showers, 30% chance, sunny otherwise, a high 86. It is 74 WPKY.
1580 103.3 WPKY. Tess and Ty, 848 on Coffee Talk. And we've had a great show, packed show, which we like. We like tons of company, right? That way everybody gets to know one another. Lots of company, right? Hey, you know what? The sun shines out. The fog is gone.
I feel like I'm getting on your nerves.
I'm not. Well,
I
a little
took the
bit.
headphones and went pooh because you said I
was
can't
like,
hear you.
hey,
And I
don't
said,
touch my
leave
headphones,
one
man.
ear open, Tess, like I do.
You will draw back a nub.
It's like I was pulling a bow back.
Like, hey.
Like, oh, leave me alone.
I'm telling you.
It's Friday and it gets hectic in here. We're punching buttons and everything. As long as we don't punch each other, we're okay.
It's been a long week.
Right?
Well,
hey, give me some of
as
that.
long as you leave my headphones alone, we'll be all right.
You can't hear me.
Hey.
Like, I can't hear a thing you're saying. So
I've
leave
had one
ear
cup of
open.
coffee. I'm a little snippy, okay?
Oh, I love it.
Hey, it's going to be a good day. It is. And this is actually a really good program. I love that. Anything to do with veterans or helping out veterans, I absolutely love. I got one in my house myself, so I love that. So tell us about what's going on, Ty, and who we got here.
Okay. This is Mary Sewell. She's the director of the Catawba Tourism Commission, and we've got an exciting event coming up down in Catawba on September 7th. It is the Warrior Challenge, and it is going to be right there at exit 40 I-24 and US 62, and we're honored to have an 2006-2007 Iraq veteran from Army National Guard, Chase Matthews, and his wife, Jennifer Matthews. So welcome to WPKY. We're so honored that you're here.
Thank you.
And Mary, tell us a little bit about this Warrior Challenge and the special just time we're going to have down there in Catawba, and invite everybody to come, because this is a Warrior Challenge.
It is.
For
it's
all
definitely
warriors.
going to be a challenge. It is a 5K mud run and obstacle course. Last year it was a 3K run, and the only thing that we heard about last year's event was, hey, it's a lot tougher than we thought, but it needs to be a 5K. It needs to be longer. So last year we partnered with a charity, Operation Enduring Warrior. It is 100% volunteer run. So all the donations, all the contributions go directly to veterans programs. They don't go to feed anybody's pocketbook. So that's why we chose them. It was founded in 2013. It is veteran run, so there's not some CEO sitting at a desk somewhere watching everybody else do all the work. It's really coming from the heart. That's why we partnered with them.
How does Chase come into this story? This is one of Chase is a local veteran from Catawba, and Chase was an injured veteran from Iraq. And tell us this special story of it's got a local face to it this year, and how special that is that you're calling all warriors to come out and participate. And Chase is going to be in the challenge as well.
Every event that Operation Enduring Warrior is part of, they have a team of masked veterans who come and escort an adaptive athlete through the course. A lot of times it is an athlete who would otherwise be unable to complete the course due to injuries that they had sustained. Last year we had a police officer who was injured in the line of duty. This year I wanted it to be something closer to home. I wanted it to be somebody, a familiar face for the locals. And actually, the city clerk for Catawba, Savannah McLeod, said, I know the perfect person. He's a local veteran. If you could get him to do it, I think it would be huge. So through contacting friends of friends, I got in touch with his wife, and she was like, I'll ask him. So when he said, when she said, he said, yeah, he would be interested in doing it, just fireworks went off. We were so proud and so happy to have someone local involved.
I'll tell you, we have a lot of veterans here in the area that we're blessed. I mean, we're pretty close to Fort Campbell and that sort of thing. My best friend is a female Marine that's retired as well. So I mean, I'm very close, to a lot of people that are vets. And what does that mean to other vets in the area? For them to be able to see somebody who's been there, come back and is thriving. And not that they don't admit that the struggle's not there. The struggle is always going to be there. But that they have each other and some other, people that care. That can make a huge difference.
Chase, tell us a little bit. It looks like you are up for the challenge. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts and why you took on this challenge.
At first, I didn't want to because I haven't done an obstacle course in a long time.
Has it been a minute?
It's been a while.
They don't understand those things. You don't just push a button and you're back on the obstacle course, right?
Yes, and I limit myself a lot, and I just want to. They talk to me about the obstacle course and stuff, and I just decided that I wanted to give it a try and not limit myself and show other people that just because you got limitations doesn't mean you can't complete something.
Well, and I love that too, because a lot of people come back, from different things. It might not even be the military or the war or anything, but they have physical issues and they just quit.
Yes.
They say, I'm done. I had my time. I'm done. It's over for me. But it doesn't have to be. And you can continue to fight and to go through things and get better and stay in shape and live life, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jennifer, what did you think the first time when you got that call? What were your thoughts and feelings when you first heard about the challenge?
I was nervous because I thought I'm never going to convince him to do this. It's never going to happen. And then I thought, well, maybe, it's better to ask for forgiveness sometimes than it is for permission. So, I don't know. I kind of just had a heart-to-heart with Chase. And, there's a lot of times where I feel like he sometimes has a mindset that because of the situation, he can't do something. And in my eyes, he can do anything. And I kind of just want everybody else to see that. And I think that it's going to be a huge, huge inspiration for people to see him achieve something like that.
I was just going to say our veterans test, and our veterans are inspirations to all of us anyway. But a wounded veteran that has served his country, given the ultimate sacrifice of himself, and to get out there and say, you know what, I'm going to take this challenge on. I mean, that's got to be... I'm getting chilled talking about it.
To see somebody with 2 prosthetic legs and an arm that he doesn't have a prosthetic arm, but he has very limited use to one of his arms, to go out there and do a 5K and do that obstacle course and to finish it makes you think, okay, if he can do this, why am I sitting here not doing something?
There's nothing in this world that
absolutely
could hold me back.
Yeah,
and there's going to be a team. It's an entire ceremony. It is really a sight to see. So even if you don't come out to participate in the run, come out and watch it. It doesn't cost anything to stand and cheer somebody on. Come watch it. It's a ceremony. They play music. I had no idea last year that there was so much to do with. That's really the point of the entire event.
It's quite moving, isn't it?
It is very moving. But they play a ceremonial song, and there is a team of 5 guys that come out fully dressed. Last year it was 90 degrees. They had gas masks on, covered from head to toe, and they carry flags and they escorted our honoree and his entire family through the entire course. And to see veterans empowering veterans, they were pushing him and his children, his wife, everybody over obstacles. So that was what I told Jennifer, that he's not going to do it by himself. They will be there. If they have to stand on top of each other's shoulders and strap him on like a backpack to get him over the obstacles, they're going to make sure that he completes the course.
One of the things with that you hit on, and it's kind of like, moms are really good at this. We talk to each other, we fuss to each other, well, you're not going to believe this. Oh, well, she did that last year. Well, wait on, hang on. So, we talk to each other and we learn from that. And that's one of those things, though. Soldiers, they can probably understand each other and, commiserate with one another and pump each other up more than anybody else can. And it's not that the family doesn't love you. But we understand that, I can't understand things the same way that another military veteran can. And so to have those other veterans there for them and to cheer them on and talk to them, it means the world.
So do you have other family members going to participate also? I think I heard that there could be other family members that are going to do the challenge as well.
Well, somehow or another, I got
That's
volunteered to do it, but I said we're going to go one and we're going to go all. So both of our children are also going to participate. I think that probably our 10-year-old son is going to enjoy it the most. But yes, we're all for going to try to support Dad the best way we can.
That is awesome. Chase, do you want to tell a little bit about your story?
I joined the National Guard in September of 2001, and went to basic training at Fort Knox, and we did when Hurricane Katrina was, when that happened, we got to go down and support, and we did a lot of work down there.
Deployed several times.
Yes, and then while we was at Hurricane Katrina, we got our orders to go to Iraq, and we went to Iraq in we landed foot on ground April of 2006, and then I got injured in March 19th of 2007, and I spent, I think, 15 months at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. And
well, we're certainly proud of you, for you, and I'm sure you were like a lot of young people in September 2001 that you decided you were going to do something and help our country, and can't thank you enough for that. You're an inspiration just sitting here. Like I said, I got chill bumps, and I would encourage everybody to, whether you're going to run or just not, to go on down on September 7th. What time do all the festivities begin, Mary?
The first wave starts at 8 a.m. There will be an elite wave of men's runners, an elite wave of women's. Then there will be an open run and a group run. I think it's supposed to be over by noon. It really just depends on how many registrations we get. But I know that his ceremony will be the finale, basically.
So that'll be at the end of the event.
Yes.
Okay.
So I really do encourage everybody to come out, cheer the runners on. If you haven't registered and you do like to run, there's cash prizes for first, second, and third place in the elite men's and women's. So if you're
all you fitness gurus out there looking for a challenge, this might be it.
That's me. I'm a fitness guru.
I'm a donut guru.
Same.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be eating watermelon.
Yes, that's right. They can register at raceentry.com/warrior challenge, warrior-challenge /race-information. That's one of the websites. If they Google this, they can do that, or is that
you could just go to lakebarkleywarriorchallenge.com.
Yes.
It'll give you all the information and give you all the links, and there is a fundraise button.
Okay, I see that.
If you click through to the race entry page, there is a fundraise button, so you don't have to enter into the race. You don't have to complete. Nobody's going to watch you run or anything, but you can help raise funds for Operation Enduring Warrior, and that money goes directly to veterans programs that are really going to help where it matters.
Well, we sure do appreciate you being here. We really do. Yeah. I think I appreciate your service as well, sir.
We certainly do, Chase.
Thank you.
Hey, if they got any information, remind them of the phone number one last time. If they need some more information or they got any questions.
It is 270-601-6885. That'll come directly to me.
Well, thank you so much once again, Tess and Ty at 9:02. And you know what? Make sure that you join us at the Fredonia Valley Parade this afternoon. The festivities, the watermelon eating for me is going to start at 5:30. I don't know about
Tess
you.
Tess is going to eat probably 2 or 3.
Maybe.
You're talking, you're talking a little smack here, and I may have to just show up down there and eat a watermelon with you, man. I'm telling you, we might have to make an event out of this. I don't know.
It could happen. I think I'm going to grab a cymbal from the Band of Pride. I'm going to jump in their parade. I'm going to have some fun today. It might be a little mischievous. You never know.
Uh-oh.
Make sure you show up tomorrow, though, from 9 till 11. Ty's going to be there. He'll make me behave a little. I don't know.
Maybe.
9:02 is the time. We're going to be there from 9 to 11 tomorrow. It's Tess and Ty. Have a great weekend. Audrey Lamb is up next with, actually here in just a few minutes with your news, and Todd will have your sports and catch you up. It's 1580, 103.3 WPKY.